Reverend Yolanda and Doreen Younglove. I've watched them be practicing and develop this unique sound for about 10 years. I've been watching this duo get their voices and combine and stuff for about 10 years. We do a little get-together on once a month. It's called Church with a 2-Drink Minimum in the Village. So go if you're interested in Church with a 2-Drink Minimum. That sounds like fun to you. Check out yolanda.net. A lot of information there. When Shawn asked me to come back, Shawn asked us to come back. I put this together, and this was 3 months ago. So it's kind of interesting how Holy Spirit works in our lives, because as you have to plan for these things, and you don't know what current events happen, could have been, anything, and we've all been in prescient situations where to these things, it's like, how do these desperate things come together and make sense, right? We've all been in those situations. This is one of those. So with that foreshadowing, this is called Letting Go of Grievances. It's, as you know, I'm a Course in Miracles teacher. One of the things that I do, it's my passion, and I'll just say first off that I'm grateful that I can share my passion with you. This is my understanding, and this is from my practice, and about letting go of grievances. A grievance, if you look it up in dictionary.com, because we're all internet savvy here, nobody opens a book anymore. Go right to the internet. Dictionary.com says grievances is a wrong considered as grounds for complaint, as something believed to cause distress. It shares the root word. This part I thought was interesting. It shares the root word with gravity, grief, and grave. Think about that. So grievances are something that's heavy, sad, and dead. Grievances are something that is heavy and sad and dead. I've got 4 ideas I'd like to share with you. They come from A Course in Miracles, but I think they're universal. You can find them in most texts. The first is the ego's plan for our happiness centers around holding grievances. And if you've ever participated in a 12-step program, you know that is true. The ego's plan for our happiness centers around holding grievances. It maintains that if someone else spoke or acted differently, if some external circumstances or events were changed, we'd be okay. To this carefully prepared public arena where angels seek to pray and mercy cannot enter, the ego comes in to make it all make sense for us. All's fair in love and war, right? All's fair in love and war. It's always the ego's central idea is that of an ego. It's just like a red flag. We don't have to change anything really. We just have to know this, like, oh, I know the mechanics of this thing I'm picking up, right? This sad, dead thing I'm picking up. I know the dynamics of it. My ego is wrapped around this idea. Second idea is to hold a grievance is to forget who we are. It goes against who all those spiritual books that we look at, Fillmore particularly, who you are. It's very central in his teachings to me. To hold a grievance is to see ourselves as limited, lacking, and little. Someone or something has more power and agency to influence our happiness than we do, right? To hold a grievance is to let the ego rule our minds, which is the central aspect, is to turn over the central aspect of our minds to this sad, dead thing. It's very human. I would see, this is a prayer she says in, most of these prayers I'm going to read to you today come from the lessons 68 through 71, if you'd like to take that up on your own study. To hold, she says, I would see you as my friend, that I may remember you are a part of me and come to know myself. Love holds no grievances. When I let all my grievances go, I will know I'm perfectly safe. My grievances hide the light of the world in me. I cannot see what I've hidden, yet I want to let it be revealed to me. If I hold this grievance, the light of the world will be hidden from me. Let me not use this as a block to sight. The light of the world will shine this away. The light of the world will shine this away. I have no need for this grievance. I want to see. I want to see. Holding grievances is the opposite of God's plan. And only God's plan will work. You can hold the grievances, drag the sad, dead thing with you, but it's not God's plan for your happiness. You know? It's your choice. That's what's wonderful about unconditional love. And the third idea of the four I'd like to mention for you today, I'm going to wind it with some prayers I think that are beautiful I'd like to share. But the third idea is holding grievances is attack on God's plan for your happiness. If you want to be happy. A person says something to you that you don't like. He does something that displeases you. He betrays his hostile thoughts by his behavior, and therefore deserves attack. It's hostile. Shut that stuff down. And depending on your reaction, right, you can tell where you are on this side of the equation. Depending on your reaction, right, we sometimes behave well, we do. You are not dealing here with what a person is. You're dealing with what a person does. And we're trying to deal with who people are. We're trying to act from a place of who we are, while being accountable for what we do. But we don't judge people on what they do. We judge them on who they are. Children of God, just like us. The light of truth is in us, where it was placed by God. And wherever his plan is accepted, it is accomplished already. We know that around these tables. To achieve this goal, we must replace attack with acceptance. As long as we attack it, it cannot understand what God's plan for us is. We are therefore attacking what we don't even recognize. We lay judgment aside and ask what God's plan for us is. Holding grievances is an attack on what makes you happy. Allowing God to say, go here, do this, be a part of this, say this, open your mind to this. Have you considered all those things that the voice that likes you says to you? Right? These things that God says to you. We block those things when we choose to carry a grievance around with us. The ego's plan for our happiness centers around holding grievances. To hold a grievance is to forget who we are, and holding this grievances attacks God's plan for our happiness. And lastly, our picture of the world can only mirror, this is the big one, our picture of the world can only mirror what is within us. And if you're full of sad, dead thoughts, you're going to live in a world that is heavy and sad and dead. You can't. No one is stopping you. There were people that will help you do that. Our picture of the world can only mirror what is within us. Idle wishes and grievances are partners, are co-makers in picturing the world we see. The wishes of the ego give rise to it, and the ego's need for grievances, which are necessary to maintain it, people it with figures that seem to attack you. And they call for righteous judgment. These figures become the middlemen the ego employs to traffic in grievances. They stand between your awareness and your brother's reality. We cease to see each other as we really are. The children of God. The children of the universe. And seeing others as necessary to our wholeness. Seeing others as the necessary part of oneness that we share. Necessary. God's plan for our happiness, the ego's plan for our happiness centers around holding grievances. To hold grievances is to forget who we are. Holding grievances is an attack on God's plan, and our picture of the world can only mirror what is within it. The light of the truth is in us, where it was placed by God. The source of neither light nor darkness can be found outside of us. Grievances darken our mind. Forgiveness lifts darkness, reasserts your will for happiness, right? And lets you look upon a world of light. The barrier of grievances is really easily passed because the reasons are really simple. Do I really want to be in hell? Do I really want to weep and suffer? Do I really want to argue on Facebook? Maybe? Choose the heavy, sad, dead thing if you want. I have a few prayers for you, ones I return to again and again in A Course in Miracles in this regard. Apply this affirmation, if one of these affirmations, if you are tempted to hold a grievance of any kind. This will help you let your grievances go instead of cherishing them and hiding them in darkness. She says, I will there be light. Let me behold the light that reflects God's will and mine. I will there be light. Darkness is not my will. This cannot show me darkness, for the light has come. The light in you is all that I would see. I would see in this only what is there. I will see in this. I will see in you only what is there. Attack and grievances really aren't there to choose. That's why I always choose between truth and illusion. We're always doing that. We're choosing between truth and illusion, between what is there and what is actually not there. If the light has come, I can but choose the light, for it has no alternative in truth. It has replaced the darkness, and the darkness is gone. And be quick to tell yourself, should you be tempted, I will not trade miracles for grievances. I only want what belongs to me. God has established miracles in my right. Let miracles replace all grievances. Let me behold my Savior in this one you have appointed as the one for me to ask, to lead me to the holy light in which he stands, that I may join with him, because I let miracles replace all grievances. Holding grievances is an attack on God's plan for our salvation, for our happiness. Our picture of the world can only mirror what is within us. To hold a grievance is to forget who we are. The ego's plan for our happiness centers around holding grievances. All these things are working together to make illusion, to make what we don't want, what we think we see, a false choice. Makes it look like a compelling option. I'll just get mad and get even. It looks like an option. It's not. It'll never be an option. It's only us compounding the grievance by trying to make something that is not true, true. Let us be determined just today not to collect one more sad, dead, heavy thing. Just today. Just don't pick up one more thing. Just today. Let's be determined to be free of problems that do not exist. The means is simple honesty. Do not deceive yourself about what the problem is. And you must recognize that the problem has been solved. One of those things that Shawn talks about a lot is that the problem travels with the solution. Heard that? My final prayer for you is this. Your peace surrounds me, Father. Where I go, your peace goes there with me. It sheds its light on everyone I meet. I bring it to the desolate and the lonely and the afraid. I give your peace to those who suffer pain or grieve for loss or think they are bereft of hope and happiness. Send them to me, Father. Let me bring your peace with me. To all the world, we give the message that we have received, and so we go in peace. Grievances are heavy, sad, dead thoughts. The solution is to remember who we are and then act like it. Thank you very much for your time.